Hello, I am Sarah Millican. Another one of my favourite gig casts that we've ever done at Standard Issue had the most incredible lineup of Dawn French. What? Yeah, the national bloody treasure. Dawn French, Holly Walsh, who I've loved for bloody ages, and Sarah Kendall, who I've seen every time I've been to the Edinburgh Fringe. I always go and see Sarah Kendall's show. It was in Cheltenham and it was a bit mad. Like, the audience were very giddy. I suspect because Dawn French was in the room, we were also a little bit giddy, and it was amazing. One defining moment, I think, from it for me was when somebody threw something on stage, and I don't remember if we asked them to or they just did it anyway. She said it was a dog toy. It was definitely a vibrator or a dildo of some kind. I feel like she'd either told somebody it was oh, it's my dog toy, or the dog was like, get off my toy, but he was like that, having a lovely time. I don't even remember how it panned out, but I just remember it being such a random thing to happen, but also incredibly on brand for me, at least, if not for Standard Issue. But to be in the city, just the fact that Dawn French says yes was already like, wow. And we were all little bit hyper because Dawn French was in the room, and she's the most normal, most lovely, most wonderful, hilarious person, and just it's, I mean, so many of these gigs were just an opportunity for me to sit amongst my favourite women and have an excellent conversation, where I got to try and make them laugh, but also laugh uncontrollably at times. Please enjoy.
Did you want to start on
Shall I ask a question?
Yeah, ask a question.
Okay, so I want you to tell me something that you like about yourself. 2 things that you like about yourself. The first one about physical appearance and the second one about your personality. And I want you to be as cocky as fuck. Imagine you're a man.
My cock and balls. I imagine I was a man. Do you want me to start?
Start with you, yeah.
Okay. So what is it? Personality and physical appearance. Physical appearance is always hard for me because I have. Somebody laughed up there. I wasn't sure if that laugh was in a kind of, but you're amazing looking, or somebody going, oh yeah, you should be fucking have problems. Whatever it was, I hope
one
it was
of the 3 a.m. girls up there.
Yeah, a supportive snort, I hope. I have massive body image issues, so I always struggle to find something that I like about my physical appearance. So I'm going to start with the personality one. And then I'll just busk it. I like that I'm not afraid to swear. That could be a thing, yeah, because I sometimes people will send me messages on Facebook and Twitter and all of that shenanigans, saying, oh, I don't think you should swear so much. And I say, but I really fucking like swearing. And that's the only answer I ever need. So I like that I'm very comfortable swearing. Maybe that's the thing. And physical appearance, oh God, it's really hard. I quite like my hair sometimes, but usually when someone else has done it. Is that still? But it's still my hair. I still grew it. I know somebody else has dyed it and cut it and blow dried it and put it in heated rollers, but it's still part of me. My mum has a really interesting way of giving me a compliment I've discovered recently, because she never says, your hair looks nice. She says, oh, you're not going to cut your hair, are you? Which is her way of saying it looks nice now. She's predicting into the future that when it might look shit when I've had it cut. My hair, I think. There. That was painful to get out of me.
Well
Sorry,
done.
but I got there.
Holly?
Well, I'm the opposite of you. I am terrible at swearing because this is my voice. It doesn't, like, fuck off. It just sounds delightful, doesn't it? It's like, go fuck yourself. I will go and fuck myself. Thank you. That's so nice of you. I can't swear. I actually really, I had a, physically, I had a baby within the last year. So what I sort of thought was my body before and now are sort of 2 different things. Because I used to kind of like my boobs because they were sort of like Ant and Dec, you know, they're like one was bigger than the other, but they had a lovely chemistry, you know, that was, they just had a good professional vibe about them. And then they changed a lot because I had a baby and I sort of fed it, and then they looked quite depressed. But recently I've noticed since I've sort of stopped breastfeeding, they, like, from looking quite sad, they've kind of got a bit of a sort of Princess Diana thing going on where they're a bit more like, like my boobs are being interviewed by Martin Bashir, and they're like a sort of coyness about them.
Coquettish, almost.
A coquettish depression. Yeah.
And personality-wise?
Personality, I'm not afraid to admit I'm too weak to open a bottle, and ask a friend to do it for me. That's what's true about me.
Dawn?
Well, physically, okay. Everyone in my family, all the women in my family, have a gobble here, gobble. Like a turkey. Yeah. I don't really know why we've got it. I don't know what the point of it is. A throstle, did you say?
A
wattle. A wattle, is that what it's called? Okay, well, we all have that. And I don't know if it's for small children to hold on to. I don't know why it's there, but listen, I used to think it was horrible, but now I know it's a salute to my mother, to my grandmother, to my great-grandmother, so I'm happy to flick it for you here tonight. And I don't do that for everyone. But a little bit like you, I've really enjoyed my bosoms a lot. And I'm quite happy for other people to enjoy them as well. I don't like men with small hands. Can't help it. I don't like the tuning thing. I don't like that.
That one.
Or that. Yeah, I think that's come here.
No.
I think that's the doorbell.
But you're already there.
I never got there with that one.
But yes, I have endless games with my own bosoms on my own time. But I can't be bothered to tell you about those games now. But they happen in my nightie.
What about
I can honestly keep myself amused for hours.
What about personality-wise?
Oh.
Unless your boobs are your personality.
Sorry, I was busy thinking about my bosoms and new games. I'm fiercely loyal. If I am your friend, I would kill for you. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I look for opportunities to kill. And I may be short. Apparently, I'm short, some people say. And I'm not afraid to go in low, hard, and I'm a biter. People don't expect to be bitten in low places, and that's how I surprise people. That's me.
Lovely stuff.
Could we use part of this as your caption for your, when we do you on the photo, the spread, when we staple your fanny?
Yeah.
Could we have that as like Dawn, and then just mention some of those things that you said about the biting?
Yeah, bosoms, biting, all of that.
These are some of the things she likes.
It sounds really standard issue, doesn't it? It sounds really right.
Can we do it like a page 3 spread where it goes, Dawn's really concerned about the war. But she's ready to bite if called. Sarah, what about you?
Physically, probably, my hair, but probably because I hated it for so long. Like because growing up in Australia, like next to the beach where everybody's really, suntanned and blonde and stuff, this didn't really, this complexion, believe it or not, folks, I don't tan up very well. I know, it's pretty shocking. But I actually, I was so fair when I was growing up, I couldn't go outside during the summer between 10 and 3. I actually had to sit inside and watch children playing in the sunlight. I would be pressed up against the glass, like a dead Victorian child. I'd be like, Mother, why are the children playing under the fiery orb? Why? So I had to sort of get used to my hair and not hate it, which it was as I got older, sort of, it was okay being. And also there's a whole load of people who are now quite proud of being, ginger, there's this whole kind of thing. That's probably something I've kind of got at ease with. Personality, I think I'm pretty negative, but I think maybe that's likable.
Do you reckon?
I do. I think I always go in with the most miserable account of my life and other people's lives. And I think in a way, maybe people don't mind that. Like, I think, because I don't ever talk up anything. Like, I'm always down about something. And I think, like, it's an acquired taste. But I think some people really like that. Like, I've come to just go, I'm going to stop trying to be positive. Like, I've really tried to be positive, and it's fucking horrible. Like, positive people are excruciating to be around. So I think maybe...
Thanks.
Positive.
I know that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, but I think that's, again, it's another thing where I've just gone, I'm just going to get used to this. I'm not even going to try to be like super duper, upbeat and whatnot. So.
Cool, thank you.
Mickey?
Well, personality-wise, I'd say I was really, really positive. I am. I'm annoyingly fucking sunny. So I kind of like shit happens and just get on with it. And physically, I like my body because it does stuff, and I used to hate it and have a really awkward relationship with it and want to be thinner, but now it can run and jump and do trapeze, like badly with all the grace of a breeze block, but it still moves and does stuff, and that's good.
Good. Excellent answer.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm going to start with Sarah Kendall.
Does that mean I won the last round?
That's remarkably positive of you to think that.
And also,
I've instantly turned this into a game where someone has to be winning.
And you win the centrefold with Dawn Staples. Who knew what was up for grabs? What did you want to be when you were a kid?
I really wanted to be in comedy. I didn't know I wanted to be a stand-up. But I was really obsessed with comedy from quite an early age. Like, I loved the Goodies. The Goodies were, like, I was obsessed with them when I was a kid. I really liked Lucille Ball. I was a huge fan of I Love Lucy and Here's Lucy and The Lucy Show and all of that stuff. Like, I was, for a 10-year-old, I was quite across 1960s culture. I was quite into it, actually. I think I didn't know that stand-up even existed at that age, but I was quite fixated on comedy. I remembered watching an episode of The Goodies with my brother, and it was this episode where they went to this old house, and Tim Brooke Taylor, he played like a maid. And there's this bit where he runs off a pier. He fell into this pier flying a kite. And I laughed so hard that I threw up. I did. I laughed so hard, kind of like when I was laughing at you choking earlier. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen, seriously.
Holly was nearly sick in a sink.
Yeah.
It was classic.
And everyone just sat and laughed at me.
Yeah.
It's really
I didn't.
funny.
I offered you the Heimlich manoeuvre.
No, you didn't. You said, don't come near me. You're going to be sick.
I distinctly remember you hearing...
You did offer me the Heimlich manoeuvre. I thought that was sort of some sexy move. You were trying to take advantage of me.
Well,
I was like,
a
come
dance
on.
move. I should do the Heimlich manoeuvre.
I wanted to do the Heimlich manoeuvre because you can actually break ribs on people and get away with it. And I wanted to break your ribs. And I may yet.
Coming up the stairs, I just heard Dawn go to Holly, "Don't try to touch me in a sexual way."
Everyone has said that to me at one point this evening, so...
Anything in comedy. I just wanted to do anything in comedy. I loved that feeling where you're totally out of control laughing. If I could in any way be associated with anything to do with that, that would have just been, what I wanted to do, even when I was quite young.
And so it is what you do now?
Yes. Yes, it is. I make people laugh till they're sick.
Dawn, what about you?
Well, I had 3 things I wanted to be when I was a kid, and I was very determined about all 3. The first one is I wanted to be a burper. I didn't realise that wasn't a job, and I was really good at it, and I still am. But I couldn't make. I couldn't. Sorry.
Can you burp on demand?
Would you like me to?
Yeah.
Yes. Would you like me to?
Yes.
Can you say something?
Never meet your heroes. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah, you come on like it's all distasteful now, and that's all you wanted of me earlier was just the burping. God, I hate you're such a turncoat.
Can you burp words?
No, but I can't burp words, but have you ever tried to be a Dalek? It's not to do with burping.
No.
I can't quite pull this off, but I have heard other people do it.
Okay.
Where you say, see if you can see what I'm trying to say. I've spent a lifetime trying to get this right. Can you tell what I'm saying? Yes. Yes.
Do you know what's great is that I've never actually watched Doctor Who.
Did you know what I was saying?
Yeah, I did. I
good,
think,
What were you
good,
saying?
excellent.
What were you saying?
Listen.
There's only one word that Daleks say.
Say. And I think you'll find it makes very good use of the wattle. We use all our skills. The second thing I really wanted to be was a patient. And I don't know if this is some strange sexual thing for being a child, but I just wanted to lie there and have people explore me. And fix things on me in any place they could find. I know that's odd. Okay, let's have some therapy about that. And the third thing I really wanted to be was an air hostess. Really badly wanted to do that. And one of the reasons I think I wanted to do it was because my dad was very, very short, and his trousers always had to be altered. So my mum would cut the bottom 2 inches off the bottom of his trousers in one clean cut like that, and I would take that piece of the bottom of his trousers, put it on my head, like that, pull it very sharp at the crease, and oh boy, there is an air hostess. Oh yeah, most glamorous job in the skies. Air hostess who can burp.
What happened to the air hostess dream?
Yeah, it just fizzled to nothing. I'm still feeling failed about that.
There's still time.
I'm quite jealous on planes of air hostesses. And especially because they don't have to wear high heels anymore, which was my only problem with it. I didn't want to wear high heels.
Ellen DeGeneres does that incredible routine about how you get into it just because they go bye-bye, 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 bye-bye. It's one of the best. It's so funny. Anyway.
And they don't mean it.
No.
They mean fuck off, fuck off,
They do,
fuck
they
off,
do.
fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off.
Holly, what about you? What did you want to be as a kid?
I was obsessed with badgers as a child. Obsessed.
Badgers.
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 Badgers. The animal.
Yeah.
I was
Like a
Badgewee.
badgewee. I was obsessed with badgewee as a child. I loved badgers. Loved them. And I wanted to be a professional badger watcher. That's what I had my heart set on. But no one pays you to watch them. There's little money to be made in that industry. You get more for killing them and selling their pelt.
Yeah.
But still, the people who kill them obviously need someone to watch them and find them. So, although it would break your heart, you could have made money pointing the hunters to the animal you loved.
Yes. Wait a minute. Imagine if this is where I decide to give up comedy and I'm like, I think we've just found a business plan. I find the animals, they then load them into a pit, and then they watch the badger baiting.
Sarah. What did you want to be when you were little?
I wanted to be a piskie, first of all, which is how I pronounced pixie when I was very little. And then the next thing I wanted to be was a stripper. I thought it was just nice lady dancing, and I was really good at dancing, and I thought I could probably make a career of this. And then the last thing should be comedy, shouldn't it? The one before that, I really wanted to be a vet because I thought it was just cuddling animals. And then I did a work experience in a veterinary hospital in Gateshead. And I had to sit in on various operations, and I had to take animals off people when they were bringing them in to be put down, and it was the most horrific experience I'd been through at that point. So then I just asked if I could label bottles for the rest of my week there. So is there a job where you can label bottles for a living? I could work in a factory. I could do that now because I was really, really good at that. But yeah, they were the three things, and none of them really came to fruition, so I had to do stand-up instead. Which I'm pleased about. I'm having a lovely time, genuinely. But there's still an element of me that thinks, could I label bottles with a bikini on? Could I? While
No one's
also-
stopping you. No one is stopping
No.
you, baby.
You're positively encouraging me, Douglas.
And may I tell you that pisky is the way that we Cornish say pixie.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Pisky.
Maybe I was just...
Maybe you were
Cornish,
just
just a
Cornish.
child.
Exactly. And may I also tell you that the most famous pisky in Cornwall is Joan the Wad. Joan the Wad. Ever heard of her? No.
What was her story?
Joan the Wad. I don't really know her story. All I know is she's really ugly. And when I say ugly, I just mean like a creature, not like a person. And yet we've come to know her as Joan the Wad. I'm expecting her to look like a Joan.
Yeah.
But this is honestly what she looks like. That is Joan the Wad.
Joan. And why do the Cornish call it pisky instead of pixie? Just
I don't know. Maybe it has the
just 'cause
same.
are there other words
grammatical
that you all
problem.
pronounce wrong?
Um,
It's a fact. I'm sorry, people booed it. Boo! Don't be mean to the Cornish. Were there other words that we don't know?
oh, there's plenty of other words. I can't. They're all right though. They're not wrong. They're
Oh, okay.
all completely
It's
right.
way
Where
wrong.
does Joan
Okay.
the Pisky live?
Well, she's from Polperro. That's all. I think she's got something to
Oh,
do
it's a lovely
with.
place.
I need to be more informed about this. But I think she's got something to do with crops and fertility and stuff.
We
but
could
I could
find
be
it
wrong.
on the
That's so
interval, couldn't we?
racist, just
And
to
I-
assume that she's into crops and fertility just because she's a pisky. She might be into smoking and joyriding. You don't know. Don't assume.
If you are given one, it signifies, or someone hopes that you will have great wealth and prosperity.
A pisky.
And I think fertility, but I might have added that. This is what brings you wealth. Look for it.
Mickey, what did you want to be when you were a bairn?
Let me just cross off all my pixie questions. I wanted to be a cat for quite a while. That looked like fun, just like being rubbed. Not in the way that does.
Perhaps you could be a patient.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'd like to be rubbed and explored. I'd still quite like to be a cat. I'm very lonely. No, a journalist. I always wanted to be a writer, be a journalist, because people are really interesting in one way or another, and that's what being a journalist is all about. Getting to meet interesting people. But you guys all went into comedy. So, what is the best
Good
thing?
link.
Can I just
Not my
ask a
first
question?
rodeo, Tiger.
Did you answer that? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. That's right.
All right.
Sorry. No, I like everything to be fair. It must be fair.
We just
you-
got Dawn in to do the admin.
Did you fake? Were you a hypochondriac as a child, or fake illness to be a patient?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, actually. Yes. I did, but you see, my dad was I keep talking about my dad a lot, but he was in the RAF and we moved around a lot, so you had to make new friends everywhere you went. So you did little fireworks, ooh, look at me, oh, like me a lot. And if people didn't, I'd just try and get attention by faking illness. Yes, I did. For instance, I have been known to have toxic blood. Yeah, I claimed that when I was 8.
I faked a hearing test just by deliberately saying I hadn't heard different beeps so that I could get a hearing aid.
What did you like about the hearing
I
aid?
just thought it was a good look for me. It just was. I don't know. For some reason, I thought this would be a great thing. As a child, I thought I'll just pretend I didn't hear some of those beeps and I'll get a hearing aid out of it. And I went on for like 3 or 4 tests, just deliberately not hearing some of the lower registers. Till everyone got very worried about me, and then they did another one. They were like, "She's fine. I don't know what anyone's complaining about." Looking back, I feel terrible.
You didn't get the hearing aid then?
I didn't get that far. I
What
caved when they went, "Do you want some cake?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then they were like, "Damn it!"
Can I just, on the hearing aid thing, that's made me think about a time when my daughter brought me a picture and it was of Kate Moss in very beautiful glasses. And she said, "I want these." And she was about 12. And I said, no, those are glasses. They're proper glasses. You don't need glasses. And she said, "No, but I want these." And I said, "No, you don't need glasses." So she came back the next week. She said, "I have booked an appointment at Specsavers. I want those." I thought, oh, right, she's going to have to have a sight test. All right, I'll give in to that. So I said, no, you're not going there. You'll come to my optician with me. And I took her to the optician. I said, listen, she's fibbing because she wants the glasses. And he said, she can't fib to the guy doing the test because they double check it and stuff. So she went in, and I even looked at that guy and said, she's fibbing. And anyway, he came out, and I went and sat in with her, actually, and she started by, not even noticing the huge giant page. And I thought, honestly, shame on our family that you're such a bad actor. Bad liar. That's terrible, appalling. And I thought, really, you could have waited till a couple of lines down. Anyway, she does the test, she comes out, and the guy said to me, severely myopic. Right, he says, she can't see anything. She hasn't seen anything for years.
For years.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So I got those glasses. I got those Kate Moss glasses. She's got 2 pairs in 2 different colours. Bad mother. Bad mother. That's terrible, isn't it?
Okay, let's talk about role models. Because obviously your mum tends to be the first sort of maybe feminist role model that you get. Who are the women that you've looked up to and why? And I'll start with Sarah Millican at the end, please.
Oh, God. Well, my mum, yeah, clearly. But then also, I had a really cool teacher. I was always friends with the teachers, not really with the kids, because I was friends with the teachers. That's why. It wasn't really my decision to not be friends with the kids. I was very quiet at school and very sort of bookish, and the teachers always liked me because I guess I was well behaved and quiet and handed my work in on time and things. And we had a really cool teacher when in the first year juniors, and she was she obviously taught us all of the different lessons, all the different subjects. But she always managed to bring it back round to art. Everything we ever did, she managed to get art, 'cause she was really an art teacher, but she'd somehow landed this gig. And everything we ever did had an artistic slant. And I really loved that she found art in everything we did. And then I also loved that one day she came in with sunglasses on, and we asked her why, and it's because she tried to bleach her eyelashes, and it had gone badly wrong. And it just made me love her more, because she was flawed, but also awesome, that she'd tried that. So I think probably just because of how she was very fun and playful and made like really boring subjects really fun. And I think that's how they sink in, I guess.
Yeah. Holly?
Well, my mum is a huge role model to me because she got ordained in her 50s, I think. And she just decided that she'd always been involved in the church, but then she was like, I really want to do this. And she went to university. She did her whole, whatever you call it, God thing. I don't know.
Theology. Am I your mum?
To be fair, I can't see you from here, but She, what I love about her, she basically became a vicar about the same time that I wanted to get into comedy, and I felt that because she just went and did something completely different with her life and went for it, and it's a really sort of like very male industry, the church, as I'm sure you've come across, and I think it was a really like amazing thing for me as in my mid-20s. I'd had another job and I wasn't sure what I was doing, and then she went and just changed her life and did something completely different and was like, I know it's going to be hard, and I know women aren't that popular at the moment, and I feel like at the time it was such a great thing for me to do. But also there were a ton of comics at the time. I think Linda Smith was a huge influence for me when I was little or younger. I was brought up listening to her on Radio 4, and I just think she was phenomenal, and there's so many quotable jokes that she did that I would say that she was someone who I still listen to now, and I'm like, how sharp and funny can one person be? She was incredible. So that would be my two.
Can I just interject? I saw Linda Smith live in the Customs House in South Shields, which is the local venue to where I'm from, and it was the day that I was splitting up with my ex-husband, and we were both leaving the house, and I didn't have a ticket. I put myself on like the returns list, like months and months before. And then as we were splitting up, we literally both walked out of the house and walked in separate directions. And I just had to walk to my parents' house where I was moving in. And I was absolutely distraught and sort of, you know, quietly crying with the last box of my life to move back into my old bedroom at my mum and dad's. And my dad had already asked if I wanted my Philip Schofield posters back out the loft. And I did, clearly. Athena got a lot of money out of me in the 80s. And I got a phone call from the theatre to say they had a ticket to see Linda Smith if I wanted it. And I just thought, oh, I can't do anything today because I was just a mess. And then I thought, maybe that would be a good thing to do, maybe to take myself out of my life for a couple of hours. And I went and saw her, and she was amazing, as expected. And for 2 hours, I sort of forgot all of the shit that was going on. And then as I came back out, my life was still crap. But for 2 hours, I'd sort of forgotten that. And every now and again, when I think, I used to work in the job centre, and I used to help people back into work and get on the right benefits, and it really felt like a good job to do. Like, I was a good person for doing it, and I loved doing it, and I really liked helping people. But then, when you turn to do stand-up and you essentially tell cock jokes on stage for money, it doesn't feel quite so worthy. And then every now and again, I get a flicker of what Linda Smith did for me that day. And I thought, well, if every now and again I could do that for somebody else, where they come and see my show and they've got stuff going on, and then as they leave, it all comes back, but they've had a little bit of relief from it. Then, so actually seeing her had that weird sort of circular effect when I became a stand-up, I guess.
I've got a Linda Smith story too. When I was a baby journalist, she very kindly pointed me away from a question that I never asked again, but she did it so sweetly. And I asked what it was like to be a woman in comedy, which I know is don't ask that question. I know that now. And she went, well, I don't know. It's all I've ever been. I've never been a giraffe in comedy. Bless her. Dawn, what about role models in your life?
Well, likewise, actually, my mum was an amazing role model for me, and her life changed enormously because my dad died when I was quite young. And so my mum, after the tragedy of my dad committed suicide, which was just awful, and my mum rose like a phoenix from the ashes of this awful thing and just reclaimed her life in a completely different way. I would not have wished for her to have that awful tragedy to learn stuff about herself. But she went from being in a couple and someone she'd married when she was 18 to suddenly being widowed in her 40s. And she changed her life around completely. And my mum was a real, what's the right word? I mean, a survivor, definitely, but she was a cope, and she was very adaptable because my dad was in the RAF, so we moved around a lot. So my mum had to find jobs wherever we were. One job that she decided to do was to run a poodle parlour. Canine beautician is what she went off to train herself to do. She was sometimes a stranger to the truth, my mum, and she went and she had a week's training, but she altered the certificate to make it look like she'd done it 10 years before. And she put it up, and she brought the poodles into the shop, and she kept our family going by clipping poodles and being bitten a lot. She gave every dog a chance. Just one chance. But then she went from doing that and being an accountant and doing anything she could think of to do. But she eventually decided, well, I went home one Christmas, and on the mantelpiece in my mum's house were all these cards from people saying, thank you for saving my life. Thank you for being the light at the end of my tunnel. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I said to her, who are these people, Mum? Who are they? She said, oh, it's just young people. There's some, glue sniffers, and there's some people who have heroin. And, they're perfectly lovely. They're just a bit lost. And she was inviting everybody into her kitchen and just sort of giving everyone a cup of tea and trying to talk sense. And eventually she got some proper training, and eventually after that she opened up a centre for women and their children to deal with drug and alcohol abuse problems. And she identified a problem in this country, which is that we had then laws where if you have a big problem with major Class A drugs, people take your children immediately. And your children are gone, and you have to prove that you are clean and that you can cope before they return to you, and that can be years, and kids are in foster care. And my mum said, this is wrong. What you do to help kids recover in this situation, they are all the affected others. You help to fix the family together. So the mums and the kids recover together. And so she opened a centre. It was 1 flat, then it was 4 flats, then it was 10 flats, and then it was a huge area. And she became very well known in Plymouth for doing that. And in fact, the government then, Mo Molan was involved with the drug situation at that point. Not a drug taker. Not a drug taker. And she came down to consult with my mum about the system because it was working, it's working very well. So yeah, my mum was amazing. And when it comes to comedy, I have to say Victoria Wood was my influence. Yeah, and when Jennifer and I first went up to Edinburgh, we didn't understand that at Edinburgh everybody would write reviews of you, people who write in the Scotsman who normally do the gardening page, and they suddenly write about your comedy act and they're cruel and awful, and we had some terrible reviews. Yes, the show was terrible, but we had some dreadful reviews, and it was crushing. And it was Victoria who wrote us a letter and left it at the stage door for us that said, ignore this. I saw your show. You are great. Keep going. You're funny. Oh, wow. And so, a lot to thank her for. And I really admire everything about the way she controlled her career.
Have you still got the letter?
No, I don't think I have. I think Fatty's got that letter. No, I think she's got it. Yeah.
She sent us a wicked email, didn't she, Sarah?
Yeah, she did. Do you want me to read it?
Have you got it?
I can hunt it out for the second half. Do you want me to do that? Yeah, because I haven't got my phone on me. We did. Should we? We'll talk about it in the second half. Okay.
Sarah?
I love that all of us are saying our mums first. That's my mum as well. My mum, like you, she grew up on RAF bases, but my mum has this theory that we call them RAF brats in Australia. But her theory was that you either become like a showman and become really sort of social and affable, or you become a total recluse. And my mum was like this total recluse. And the thing that she has that I've never really had is she doesn't give a shit what people think. And it's such an admirable quality. Like, I really care what people think. And, part of what I do is that kind of desire to, get people to like me and stuff. Whereas she's just got this kind of, like, every time she would champion my cause or my brother's cause, or if she had to go up to the school because there was a bully or there was a teacher who was being unfair, she just, she was so bold about it, and she didn't care about who liked it, who didn't like it. She's just a really strong person who, that thing of not caring what people think of you and doing the right thing because you know it's the right thing. I wish I carried that more. Like, I wish I had that sort of, that inner core that she has. Professionally, I mentioned earlier Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball, for me, she was such a revelation to me as a kid, because she was, I read up a lot about her when I was younger, but I mean, she broke through when she was like 38 or something. Really? Yeah, so she'd been in these B movies and had never really done very well in films. She was more of a dancer sort of, thing. And she got I Love Lucy when she was about 36, 37, maybe even 38. Like, she was kind of old by standards back then. And she played this housewife, but she was nuts. She was behaving like a child. Yeah. And I remember as a kid just being totally fixated by this woman who was in this domestic setting, but she was the one who was being the naughty child. It's always in comedy. It's always the man child. It's always the man who's acting up. And she, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, she was playing this character where she was the one who was being the really naughty child. And her physical comedy was so accomplished. She was so physically fit, even people like Buster Keaton really respected her stagecraft. And I think, she's just, and also I've certainly felt like it's never too late to kind of become that incarnation of yourself. Like, I feel like I've sort of figured out what I do quite late professionally. I've done it for quite some time, but only recently have I gone, oh, that's what I do. And I kind of think, I would always look at Lucille Ball and think, it's okay, you can take your time. It can take a while to figure out what you do. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with coming to it a bit late.
Yeah, that's good. What about you?
Well, I'm gonna stick with the trend and say my mum as well. Although she's an odd feminist, is Anne. She brought me up on her own, and she went and took ironing in when she didn't have a work from the neighbours, and she was totally humble, and she did loads of stuff on her own, and she was the strongest woman I know. And then she opens her mouth, and man, feminism just goes by the wayside, but in a strange way. I remember I was seeing a guy and he'd stayed over. My mum had phoned me and I went, oh, just Jed's here. Can I call you when he's gone? And she went, okay. So I called her and she went, oh, did he come round this morning for a cup of tea? And I was like, no, Mum, I'm 36 years old. That's not what happened. And she went, oh, have you taken it to the next level? Which is adorable, but brace yourself. And I went, sure, we've taken it to the next level. And she went, oh, was it violent? And I went, sorry, what now? And she went, was it, violent? And I went, I can only imagine you mean rough, and I still don't want this conversation. And then she said, and it's that kind, she went, well, I might be a lady in her 60s, but I really like sex, and it's good for me to know that my daughter's having a nice time. So bless her. Thanks, Anne.
I think we have to.
We have to have an interval.
We have to have an interval.
Yeah.
We'll come back. It's fine.
We'll come back.
I guess 15, 20-minute interval. Get yourself some drinks, have wheeze and things, and we'll see you shortly. But thank you very much. You're a smashing audience. Thank you.
We hope you're enjoying this latest In Conversation with Standard Issue. A quick reminder that Standard Issue magazine is available on all good internet browsers at standardissuemagazine.com, and all of our podcasts are available on iTunes and directly from standardissuemagazine.com/podcasts. Now, on with the show.
Yes, I've screen grabbed it so I can read it to you. So what we did the year before last? Question again. Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, 2 years ago. We did a gig in London for Comic Relief with Standard Issue, and it was, Holly was on, and there was 9 female comics, I think, or as I like to call them, comics. And and we asked Victoria Wood if she could possibly, in a kind of a dream world, maybe do a spot. And she had replied and said she wasn't sure if she was going to be available, could we come back to a closer time? And then turned out she was going to be filming. But as a good idea from my husband suggested that he said, why don't you get the people who can't come to maybe do a funny apology email type of thing that we could read out. So this is word for word from Victoria Wood. Paula, could you send this for me? Just the usual. Dear Sheila Milligan, thank you for your email inviting me to take part in insert name of show fun run project. Obviously, I am a keen supporter of insert name of charity and would love to perform, run, paint picture of Paul McCartney on boiled egg. Unfortunately, on the date in question, I will be speaking at the UN on women's rights, helping to form a small right-of-centre political party headed by Angela Rippon, chatting to my fiancé on death row via Skype. Thanks, Paula. Of course, really, I'll be brushing toast crumbs off my fleece and watching Storage Wars. Victoria. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. So obviously she was a very funny woman, so I'm going to ask you, what is the one thing that never fails to make you laugh? And I'm going to start with Holly.
Oh, so hard. Don't
Correct. Sorry, Holly, I've just... Please show me what that was. I just caught a glimpse of...
I'm not sure that's supposed to make you laugh, love.
Yes, it is.
Can I just ask where you've put it?
All I can know what you think.
All I can say is I want to be your patient.
What is it? It's a what? It's a dog toy.
No, it isn't.
For the purposes of
Where is your dog playing with it? That's what I want to know.
It's the most grotesque idea that you could come home and find your dog.
Oh my God. That would be the best dragon's den in the world. It's a dog dildo.
Oh, she's still on the wangy.
The
Go on.
wangy. Jeez. I'd say the letters that people write into women's magazines, i.e., chat magazine style, because I subsidised my temping career for a few years by writing what I thought was pretty genuine, letters, and I'd get paid 30, 60 quid a month by writing, just because sometimes I'd just be really formulaic about it. And other times I'd write things like, as a single working mum, I love to take my baby to work with me. All I have to do is put him next to the photocopier and he falls straight asleep. So at night, now I imitate the sound of a photocopier and hey presto, zizzes till 6 a.m. And I got like 60 quid a go for it. And honestly, you can make serious cash out of those idiots. It's amazing. So yeah, that would be mine.
Excellent. Dawn?
Things that guarantee to make me laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, my brother, 100%. Fatty Saunders, 100%, always. And she will do anything to make you laugh. I can't even tell you some of the things, but...
Yeah,
So
you
she
can.
will
Yeah,
do-
Tom,
she is
can you tell us one of them?
Total tart. She is a total tart for a laugh, in a good way. No, I can't tell you the things. Too rude. Without her permission, I can't. Dogs in wigs. Babies in wigs. Love that. And vomiting. That's my list.
So you vomiting or other people
No,
vomiting?
honestly, I live in Plymouth. Well, I don't know. I live in Cornwall, but I travel through Plymouth, sometimes late at night. And honestly, people are honking up on the side, and there's something about the lack of control and the full every orifice. That I don't know why it just makes me laugh every time. Every time. I know. I'm sick.
You're a patient.
Yeah.
Sarah Kendall?
This is sort of my secret shame. I love people hurting themselves. Not dying, not getting genuinely hurt, but like those like funniest home video clip shows. As I say, it's like my secret shame. I can watch those for hours and I will laugh so hard. Even my husband is sort of like, what are you doing? Why is this funny to you? And I'm just like, I don't know. It's like the kid's got a hammer, the dad's putting up a shelf, and I know he's going to get hit in the balls by the hammer. I've seen it literally 1,000 times, and I know they're going to put a die-oing on it, and it just... Every time, I got hit in the nuts, Or like kids going down slides and they go too fast and then they go skidding on their face on the grass. I'm a parent, even I just see when kids, and I love it when people trip on a raised piece of pavement, but they don't fall. And they do the trip and the little run afterwards. It's like, whoa, whoa. I love it. I love people being stripped of their dignity.
Sarah?
Probably my husband makes me laugh all the time, and like my female friends, I don't really have any. I don't do friends that don't make me laugh. I don't believe in it. They don't last long. Fuck them. So I like spending time with my female friends as well. And my family are all very funny, and my sister always says we're all funny in our family. Sarah's just the one that gets paid for it. The rest of us do it for free. She's right. She is right. And a fart. I like a fart.
Farts are great.
Although
God, a
I have
fart.
IBS, so sometimes they're quite worrying. But also, I've recently discovered that if I'm careful, I can walk in on my dog having sex with a John Lewis throw. Oh yeah, it's a good quality one. Pulls it off the sofa, makes it up into the shape of a dog, and just has a good going at it.
That makes your dog the second most satisfied dog in the
Absolutely.
Yeah, he and I once because he has two discs on his collar that kind of sort of chink together, so I can hear it happening, and I try and creep up on him.
We had a...
And the day before, because he had his balls off, and he had them off quite late because we got him. He's a rescue, and he was 4 years old when we got him, and that's quite late. But it's a condition of the Dogs Trust rescue adoption process that you have to have him done. So, and obviously he doesn't know that it's about to happen, and you can't, prepare him for it. And I walked in on him because I heard the chink, 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 like rhythmic chink, chink, chink. And I walked in on him, and he'd made the throw into a shape of a dog, and he was giving it a good go. And he sort of stopped. And didn't stop, go back down on all fours, but just stopped, paused, and looked at me like, oh, fuck. And I just said, oh, it's your last day of them working properly, have a bloody good go. And I walked out of the room, and within 3 seconds, chink, 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 chink. But it's quite impressive, because he hasn't got any balls, he still does it now, but it just means that I let him do it, but I don't have to wash the throws often.
I love how you're caught in this. You're trying to creep up on him. You're dogging your dog.
Is it as funny when your dog catches you?
Oh no, we invite him in. Yeah, he's got a bed right. No, he's no. Just likes to watch. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't join in or anything. It's fine. He's got his own toys like that lady's dog has. Keeps himself occupied.
We had a cat that one of our cats was really, really stupid cat. He was so lovely, but the dumbest of all the cats we'd ever owned. And he used to do what your dog did, but do it to human arms. So you'd be, I know.
I love that.
I know. He wouldn't even identify a fluffy object. It would be a skin in a hand, right? So you'd be sitting there watching television, and he'd sort of slink over. And then my whole family would be like, oh shit, Oscar's going to do it. But we'd let it happen because it was just too funny. And he'd make this kind of... and then he'd straddle your arm, and so he'd try to get into a good position, and we'd just be, oh, it's going to happen. And then I would just, for extra effect, I'd sometimes go in my hand. He would and he'd had the operation, he had no equipment, but he would start grabbing the back of my hand, chewing on it, giving it little love bites and humping, and then you'd have to throw the cat off because the joke had got out of control by that point. But
were you paranoid that your arms were hairy?
Don't know what you mean. That is a good point. And that's the end of the story.
Yeah, my cat, as he's got older, I've got a boy cat and a girl cat, and when I go away, when I get back, Mark is the girl, and she couldn't give a shit that I've been away and come back, but Ross is amorous and follows me around. I thought he just missed me, but then he would sit on my lap and he'd be purring away, and then he would get aroused. His little lipstick comes out.
Oh no!
Oh. Just shoots him up, and he looks horrified. And he looks at it, and he looks at me, and then he just washes it while maintaining direct eye contact until it goes away, and we both sit in a stunned, uncomfortable silence. Because for 14 years I thought I was his mum, and apparently that is not the relationship he thinks we have.
So you call it the lipstick, we call it ET's phoning home, that's our code word. When it's come out and it's all ouch, with the pink glowy end on. Oh, ET's phoning home again.
It's disgusting.
Okay, so we've covered laughter. What never fails to piss you off? And I'm going to start with you, Millican.
Don't get really annoyed that often. I've done a lot of driving lately, and I think I'm an all right driver. I'm quite sort of safe, but not, doing 50 and a 70. But I get reasonably annoyed by by people who don't seem surprised when the traffic lights turn green. So you're sitting at traffic lights and we're all like, riding the clutch, or maybe you've put your handbrake on or whatever, and then they do that sort of, oh God, okay, and then they put it in gear, and then they take the handbrake off, and then 3 cars get through and it goes red again, and that really pisses me off. But I don't flash and I don't beep or anything like that. It's very internalized, so I will end up with an ulcer at some point. I do sometimes gesticulate, but I only do it when I'm driving at speed. I think it's good if I can get away. I'll do a kind of flick in the V's, or I'll do a cock, or I did once accidentally do that, and I forgot that's not one. That's not one, is it? I'm so annoyed by your driving that I'm going to suck your cock. Oh, that was the code.
Holly?
I get really annoyed by my parents using me as tech support. That annoys me. Oh my God. And also, I got my mum me and my brother went halves and bought her a mobile phone a couple of years ago because she's
Did
not
you
quite...
call it a robot there?
Robot, yeah. We got a robot. We were
They
like,
use
stop
you as
calling
tech
us, he's a
support,
robot.
and you call a mobile phone a robot.
Yeah. Imagine, yeah. No, we got her a mobile phone because she's not quite old enough for one of those red emergency buttons. And, jeez, honestly, their texting is... You all right?
Purse.
The texting is so bad. It's just such a terrible level of texting. They'll just text you. I'll say, "Oh, how's your holiday?" And they'll say, "We are in Rye." And I'll say, "Oh, wow. Well, this sort of messaging, I can understand why you don't send postcards anymore." And then they write back, "We are in Rye." It's like they're terrible. And I my mum bought this really expensive MacBook the other day. That's my inheritance. And she used it as a tray. I saw her using it as a tray. I was like, come on. And my brother is, unfortunately, my brother gets it worse. He has to set everything for them. So he had to go, they got a new TV and they don't know how to make all the channels work. So he set you know how when you turn it on, it always goes to one channel? He set that to Gay Chat Rabbit. And they don't know how to change it. So every time my mum's a vicar and they turn it on and then it's like that. They're desperately trying to get it off that.
Gay Chat Rabbit? What is that?
Is it called Chat Rabbit? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
I think it's one of those. Am I?
She know.
Deborah Meaden's just spent £100 on Chat Rabbit. It's. Do you know what Chat Rabbit is? Have I made that up? No.
That was such a good way to flush out an audience member. Or have I made that up? My mum sends amazing texts. She said, because she'll put things in capitals in the middle of the sentence. Like one word will be capitalised, but she sent me this one text, and I'll shout the bits that were capitalised. Okay, so the text went, "You know that woman who passed out in the hairdressers?" Then 14 question marks. Turns out she was drinking ethanol. It's in hand wash. Turns out it's quite common. That's like a normal text message for her to send me.
My mum can't work out predictive text, so for about 4 months when she got a new phone, she kept signing off none. Love none. And calling me Nick as well. Dawn, what makes you cross?
I really can't be doing, I know it's an old chestnut, but it's still around. I cannot be doing with when you've said it and then a bloke says it and that's when it's heard.
Yeah.
I can't be doing with that at all.
Could a man repeat that so we all know what she's talking about, please?
What really annoys me still, it's annoyed me since I was 2, is when my brother wins at wrestling. And to this day, my brother, who is 2 years older than me, if we are sitting together anywhere, if we're watching telly, if we're in a car together, we have to start a fight, physical fight. And I still really want to win it, and I very rarely do, and it really pisses me off.
Do you bite him low and hard?
I have done biting. He says that's against the rules. Like there are rules. Because is pinning your shoulders to the floor with knees and then waiting for dribble to go on you. Isn't that against the rules? Yes, I agree.
I've remembered something else that annoys me. I don't know, I've never said this out loud, so I don't know if it makes sense, but when it's basically on service calls or when you meet somebody like an estate agent and you don't ask them how they are, you just go, "Hi there," and they go, "Yeah, good, thanks." I don't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? Does that happen?
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Sarah Kendall?
Tons of things piss me off. I'm serious. I'm trying to like pick out my top 2. But it's little things. Like I hate litter bugs. I hate people who just, and when people finish a cigarette and flick it, and you're like, that's trash. You've just flicked trash. You know, this weird thing where they just don't think it's trash and they flick it in the gutter, or, you know, like that drives me crazy. I can't stand like people who are rude to wait staff. That's like one of my, you know, like when you go out with someone, or like certainly with business things where you have like a lunch and then like it just flushes out who the absolute cockhead is. The person who just doesn't make eye contact with the waiter when they're ordering stuff, or they go, "Oh, this isn't actually what I ordered." You know, like that kind of. And I worked in the service industry for like 6 years, and the amount of times you'd have to put up with that shit, like it still makes me fucking, like, yeah, I know. And when you see it happening at the next table, and you're like, I want to fucking say something. I never say anything. That's my problem. I'm like the guy from Network. I'm mad as hell, but I don't ever, you know, say anything. What else can't? Oh God. This happened with a cab company where I rang them and I said, I got to get a cab at 4. And there was no cab by 4:15. And I rang them and I said, there's no cab. And they said, well, there's a lot of traffic on the road now. You know, and you're like, yeah, and you're a cab company and you do this every day and you should know there's a lot of traffic on the road, so you should have sent the cab earlier, because I didn't say 4:15. I said 4 o'clock. Like, that kind of thing where you've just got someone going, sorry, but there's a lot of traffic. But you're like, but... How can that... Now I just realised I am the person being mean to the service person. I'm the person from the second anecdote in the third anecdote. It's haunting. That's my short list.
Cool. Now,
What makes you mad? Vicky?
Mine's quite serious, but I really don't like it when people take the piss out of someone's generosity, and you can see that someone's being really kind and someone's just using them and will just... suck them dry. Yeah. They are cock-juggling thunder cunts. Now I've got us all wound up. Not in the dildo way. There's no context to that on the podcast whatsoever.
I think that should just become a catchphrase of the podcast. We just say, not in a dildo way.
Our new tagline. What do you do to relax? Not in a dildo. No, sorry.
Oh, that's me out then.
Shall I start with Lady French?
Oh, what do I do to relax?
Yeah.
What I think I'd like to do to relax, but I'm not allowed to do, and we know it's led to very bad things in the past, but I really would like to have industrial strength anaesthetic. Oh, I'd love it. Do you love anaesthetic? I do.
I don't think I've ever had it.
I don't get it as often as I really want it. You know, even if you claim you've got toxic blood and stuff, nobody will take you seriously and give you anaesthetic.
You're rich enough, surely, to be able to hire your own anaesthetist.
I give all my money away. God, I support the sex toys for dogs trade. And I always have.
Oh yeah, best-selling model, the Dawn French.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it. It lights up. It's like a sort of pinky thing. Quite popular.
So on a lighter coloured dog, you can see them glow.
Yeah.
That's what's really...
The advert for it is just a huge puddle, and it's like... That's it. That's it. Didn't make joke.
Do you mean an actual general anaesthetic?
Well, I haven't had an anaesthetic, a proper general. I've had it very rarely.
Yep.
But when I have
You
had
should
it,
have it rarely.
I've had it rarely.
Who doesn't?
I know, but I'd really love more. Because for a moment, I just don't have to do anything. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to make a decision.
Do you feel like that on
anything.
Do you feel like that on planes? I feel a bit like that on airplanes. Not like I'm having an anaesthetic.
Yeah.
But that I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what? Because you've been to Australia.
I do though.
This year.
I have to keep the plane up with my thoughts.
Oh yeah, what?
And I'll tell you something. I do that all the way to Australia.
That's
and back,
exhausting.
and nobody thanks me. And everybody, sometimes 300 people have had the plane kept up by my thoughts. I haven't gone to sleep. I have held on like that and kept it up.
You're just there in your dad's trousers like that. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
So next time you're in a plane with me, just say a little thank you. Just think about who's kept it up all the way. No, so anaesthetic. I'd love loads of anaesthetic, but I'm not allowed that. So what I do to relax is watch reality murder shows. I don't know why this relaxes
murder
me.
shows?
Is that a
Hey,
snuff
don't you
film?
know about it? I'm not busy flicking through trying to find gay rabbit.
No, do you mean like true crime, or do you mean like
I
Big Brother
mean
gone wrong?
Inspector Joe Kender. Anyone come across Inspector
No.
Joe Kender? Yeah. So my chum there, the one person who's found it. You have to look through a lot of channels. CI or something like that. It's on, and
Somebody's gone to look for it now.
I know it is murder. I know it's upsetting. Yeah, and he is a guy who I don't even know where he lives, somewhere in America, and he solves crimes.
It's good.
So far, it's great. But they are really.
Australian.
He explains how he unpicked everything years ago when he was a young man. What's great about Inspector Joe Kender, I urge you to try and find him. He's a little guy. He's about that big, and he looks a bit like Joan the Wad. If we're honest, he's a bit like that, but he's great inspector, a great detective. I would want him if I got murdered. I would want him to be the one solving it. But in the flashbacks, Joe Kender, the real Joe Kender, has clearly chosen the young actor who's going to play him, who is very tall and extremely handsome, with a very good jaw and does great smoking, like that. And I just love the fact that the flashbacks have nothing to do with the actual murder. But he does solve real murders. And for a little while, that and Poldark, I'm very happy to disappear into. I don't want to disappear into Poldark in that exact south. I'd like to be his patient.
Thank you for such a comprehensive answer.
Oh, that is the worst heckle I've ever heard.
Oh, joke ender.
Is there a woman in here who can explain what he's saying, please? I don't understand. Sarah, what do you do to relax?
Oh, me? Oh, sorry.
You go. Me? Which one?
Which?
Fight.
Let's go at the same time.
No.
Kendall?
Kendall.
Okay. What do? I cycle. Oh, I really like cycling. I don't like cycling in parks and pretty places, though. I quite like cycling in traffic. I think because it totally focuses. You got to so focus on like not getting run over by some cunt on their phone that you've actually. It's such a. You've really got to. I don't know. It really absorbs me. Whereas if I'm cycling in a park, I start thinking about all the things that I hate, and I get really like I don't. I'm not sufficiently distracted. Whereas when I'm in traffic, I've really got to focus. So that really relaxes me. Do you know, interestingly, you watch those murder things. I love air crash investigation. When I was up in the middle of the night breastfeeding both of my kids, I would watch air crash investigation in the middle of the night. Because I was afraid of flying, but I think I felt like if I absorbed as much information as I could on the topic, then I would be sufficiently armed with knowledge for it to never happen to me. I think that's the logic of people who get fixated on things like this. So, I started thinking, right, so, and I still do this, when I'm on airplanes, I know to be 5 rows or less from an exit, and if you're further than 5 rows, count it out, because if it's a smoky cabin, then you're going to need to know how many things you are. I also, not being near the aviation gas, you're better being right at the back of the plane. You've got a much better chance of survival at the back of the plane than at the front of the plane. I totally got obsessed with it. And certain crashes that I got really interested in, there are just certain ones that are just incredibly gripping stories, but that was kind of in the way that you got into, I don't know, something really macabre about it that absolutely absorbed me, and I just found it so interesting.
Because you can feel at the end of them, you can just think, I'm alive.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not that
I'm so
guy.
glad. I'm so glad I'm on the ground and I'm here in my house. I'm not on a pesky aeroplane. So that really bizarre, because it was so absorbing. It was really interesting.
Cool. Sarah Millican?
Bath and a wank. That's my answer.
Holly?
I love going to watch football. I'm a big football fan. I love it. And I think it's because being a comic, when you're... it's really hard to watch comedy now and me really, really let go and laugh when I'm in a room, because I'm sort of even if someone does an amazing joke, I'm like, oh, that's such a good joke. But I find it really hard to just let go. But when I go to watch football, I don't know how to play football. I'd be a terrible footballer. But I love watching it because I love being part of a huge group of people who are all reacting to something, and someone scores and we're all I go and watch it live as much as I can, because I just love being part of the pack and just being everything is live and it's just responding to it. And I think it's because when I didn't do comedy, that's what I loved about going to watch comedy, and now I can't get that from comedy, so I need to find it from somewhere else. So I go to watch millionaires in shorts. You what? Sorry, was it a subject that you found interesting, that bloke?
What team, Holly? Sunderland.
That man has spoken for me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. It's Crystal Palace.
Oh.
Mickey, how do you relax?
I'm in a circus, so I go and do trapeze, because when you're upside down clinging onto a rope, you can't really think of anything else or you'll fall off that fucker. Just clears my head. That and running.
You should wank while you're on the circus trapeze. That'd really...
There were kids present, so that is a great idea.
You are so the winner, if you don't mind me saying.
Yes.
I think I'm the winner, but whatever.
I
can
you
do
would come
mine
first.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
No offence, women, but we're all getting, that little bit older, and I wondered what
It's not offensive to say that we're getting older. It's
Well,
just
this is-
time, isn't
yeah.
it?
So this is kind of what I
Don't
was
feel bad.
It is the nature of time.
I always
It's
think-
totally fair.
I always think it's funny how you're not allowed to ask a woman how old she is. That's an offensive question, because it's just a factual question.
But it used to be a thing. That's the point where, women weren't allowed to be angry and we're not allowed to get older. So I think it's become sort of social conditioning.
Fucking 41. There you go.
Holly, with or without swearing.
How old am I?
Yeah.
35.
Dawn?
I'm 58.
She just got older.
But I
Just
think
the
that was a
nature of
clap for
time.
being alive. Just still being alive.
Now I'm afraid that the number I say won't get a cheer. So you got to cheer for yours. No,
Let's see.
I turned 40 this year. It works. It totally worked.
And I turn 40 next year.
I was
got
40
one.
last year.
You've had your turn, Millican. Stop milking it.
So, back to you, Sarah Millican. What is the best thing about getting older?
Confidence, I think. I've never been very confident, and as I get older, I think it's a bit what Sarah was saying about her mum, about giving less of a shit, I think, about sort of unimportant things, maybe. Somebody asked me recently if I'd like to have some free anti-aging treatments, and I thought, oh, okay, so this is how I'm perceived. And I realised, the answer was no, because I didn't want to have anything like that. But also, I realised, by being asked that question, that I'm quite happy to look my age. I think that's fine to be 41 and look 41. And it's only because of the way women have been forced to be on television sometimes, when women maybe have to have plastic surgery in order to feel like that they can still be kind of employed, and also the way magazines tell you how to look younger and how to behave younger, and how younger is always the optimum. And I don't think it is. I think I'm more interesting as I get older, and I certainly feel more confident. So I think I replied to the person who offered me free treatment and said, that's not really my sort of thing, but thank you very much. But I really wanted to go, how fucking dare you? And also, it's not even how dare you that you think I look old, but how dare you think that I feel like an improvement is to be younger, because I think an improvement is to just be a good person, regardless of what age I am. But there you go. Thanks.
Holly Walsh?
Well, I think the thing I'm most looking forward to about getting older is I'm that bit closer to getting a hearing aid. Which is...
Fingers crossed.
I hope they don't edit out the first time you talked about that. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
no.
going to be such a weird laugh for the listeners at home.
I think it's sort of holiday choices for me. Like the idea when I was younger, and I never went on this, by the way, but like Club 18 to 30 holidays, or having to go on holiday to look amazing and get laid, is just, the idea of that is the most stressful thing I've ever heard. And literally, my husband and I, we basically visit what other people would regard as school trip destinations. Is our idea of a dirty weekend. Like, we went to Ironbridge, and I swear to God, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was amazing. And it was just me and my husband and like 15 school parties around us, and we were like, I couldn't be happier looking at all the ore. It was just so fun. So I think, just being able to indulge the like boring parts of my brain.
Dawn?
Well, I am reminded that when I was younger, when I suppose I must have been about 12 or something, I remember when my auntie turned 40, and I remember thinking at age 12, oh, why don't you just die? I remember thinking, what's the point of being that old? You can't do anything anymore. Do us all a favour. That's ridiculous. So ridiculous. So young. So anyway, as you get older, obviously, one of the things that I'm grateful for is that I think I've gone over quite a lot of the hurdles that life is going to throw at me. I'm not saying I haven't got more to go over, but I've been over a few, and I'm sort of quite glad those are behind me. That's quite a good thing about getting older. I think also that I am definitely a little bit more confident, like you say, Sarah, that I think I know what I like, and I'm not scared to say it anymore. I used to think, ooh, would it be all right, and how do you feel, and what about you? But I know now that I haven't, you are on the clock a bit. And so you'll think, actually, I haven't got time to listen to you, you're an idiot. Okay, let's wind this up. So I just move along a bit quicker, funnily enough. And also, the thing about getting older is I am just grateful to be getting older. I have got lots of friends who didn't manage to get older. And so I'm just glad to be getting older, and it's getting better. That's all I would say.
Yes. Sarah Kendall?
Yes. Yes. I remember I watched this. You know the movie Mummy Dearest, which is the movie. With I remember watching that movie the first time maybe 20 years ago, and I loved it. It was such a camp, great movie. And there's this scene in Mummy Dearest where Joan Crawford, her husband was like the CEO of Pepsi, and she's now the chairman of the board. And there's this scene where all these kind of grey-haired guys in suits are trying to wrangle the corporation off her. And Joan Crawford says this fantastic line. She says, "Don't fuck with me, gentlemen. This is not my first time at the rodeo." And I remembered watching that scene and thinking, oh, fuck, I'd love to be a bit older to, like, sniff out a situation that quickly and know what's happening. And I reckon that's the thing that happens when you get older. You kind of get the cut of a person's jib a lot faster, and you know the situation when it's happening because it's not your first time at the rodeo. You know when someone's pulling a fast one on you. You know when someone's, when even a tradie who came around to my house and tried to kind of sell me this over-expensive thing. Like I knew what was happening. I was like, I know what you're doing. No, I'm not buying it. Whereas I think maybe 20 years ago I would have gone, oh, okay, if you say so. I mean, it was like a smoke detector, really. But no, no. But I do. I think you. No, genuinely though, I think you sort of go, I know what's going on here. I know exactly what's going on here. I know that, and I like that feeling. I like that. It's like having a heightened state of consciousness. I didn't feel that way 15 years ago. I felt quite bamboozled by the world and situations. Whereas now I think I'm a bit quicker on the uptake. I kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Mickey?
Love the way you do that. I guess the best thing about getting older is I like myself more and feel quite comfortable saying that. I think I was always trying to fit in with other people when I was younger, and it's not giving a shit as much. I mean, I don't want to piss people off most of the time. But it is that confidence in, I'm all right. And it's taken me nearly 40 years to work that out, which is a fucking waste of time. But I'm all right. That's it. We've got time for one last question. So, do you have any party tricks or special talents that we should know about? I'm going to start with you, Millican.
I've just got the one. I can do a horn noise with my mouth.
A what noise?
Horn.
Horn noise. Okay.
I have to do that. What did you think I said? A what? A horn noise?
I did think that's what you said. And I can do that.
I can, yeah.
Sounds a bit like a Dalek, but... That is good.
I always have to do the hand. I can't do it like that. Which is it's because the left one's bigger, so it's. That's my one skill, but I bring it out whenever anybody fucking asks.
I do like to ask. Holly?
I think in some lights I can look like a young Mary Berry.
Have you got any floral bomber jackets?
Floral bomber jacket.
I love that. That's a party trick. Can you guys just change the lighting?
I bring a bit of lighting with me and I just...
I think we've lost Kendall. Dawn?
I so wish I could match you with a Paul Hollywood, but I can't. I've got bosom tricks, but none I can do here. I can move one eye independently of the other.
Okay.
Want to see it?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
Can you do it over this?
Yes. Do you want to see it again? Yes. I operate under the guise of a vicar, but I am from Satan.
Sarah Kendall?
Yes. I used to do this in stand-up, but there are two sort of celebrity impressions. One of them I used to do in stand-up. This is my Nicole Kidman face. I feel like I have to surprise you. So. So fucking stupid.
That's excellent.
I've never, like, I used to do this like 20
I just
years
want to
ago.
know how you found that. Was someone like,
I
you
don't
know
know
when you
either.
climax, you look just like Nicole Kidman?
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I discovered it. My husband was like, "Wow, that looks a lot like." So this is something I haven't done Well, no, I did it like 20 years ago when it was really topical and people used to find it really funny. But this is my Jodie Foster. I can do a pretty good Jodie Foster. I haven't done it for a while though. Okay.
No, don't have to surprise us with this one.
I don't, no, not at all. No, okay. Please, Dr. Lecter, there's no time. No, it's not. Forget it. I can't do it anytime. Please, Dr. Lecter, there's no time. I can't do it anymore.
Please, to make it better, can you do Nicole again?
Yeah, I better fix this. This is like my shitting in a bin story from backstage. Terribly sad.
Please do it.
Yeah, all right, they're just for you.
Okay.
Not for you.
It's like an Australian Joan the Wad.
I'm sorry?
It's like an Australian Joan the Wad.
Like the Australian Joan the Wad, yeah.
On that bombshell.
Thanks to you, I'm leaving a moist chair here tonight.
As is she. There we go.
I think, are we out of time?
We're out
I think
of
we're
time. Thanks, guys.
You guys have been such an amazing audience. This is our first time at the Cheltenham Comedy Festival, but hopefully not our last. And there's, you can see on the stands, there's loads of stuff going on. I can see loads of amazing comics on there, so please check out the website and have a look. If there's something else that you fancy, please. Oh, she's don't throw your cock at me. And that is...
I really want that, but I don't want to touch it.
Please have a look at our magazine.
There's nothing like doing a feminist gig and someone throwing a cook at you. That's...